Hi, friends. Hi, this is Marina Shepelsky with my weekly immigration news with Marina Shepelsky live seminar or live show, as you may. I am doing this on two devices. So I'm on StreamYard on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm on Instagram live in my English language Shepelsky Law account. So I will be kind of looking in two places at the same time. So don't judge me too harshly. And hopefully this won't bother you too much. And I will be answering questions at the end of the show. So please be patient. But I will be saying hello to people like Kelly, who said hello on YouTube, actually. And that's how we are gonna roll today. I prepared some stuff for you guys, just news-wise. So the biggest immigration news this week was that despite everybody hoping that President Biden's administration will be able to get rid of and not follow the Title 42 COVID public health order, that's staying because the states sued the federal government. They brought a lawsuit against the federal government saying that this places too much burden on their resources to just let everybody through the border. So most people are being turned away at the border, people asking for asylum and so on, due to COVID and other public health concerns that remain, with all due respect. But we, the immigration community, were hoping that it wouldn't continue. And I'm going to ask you to wait one moment so I can turn on Do Not Disturb on my phone because people keep texting me. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, then the next thing I wanted to discuss is that USCIS now expanded the expedited processing currently done. And I don't want to confuse you guys with what we discussed a few weeks ago, where they said by the end of the fiscal year 2023, they will fix all these delays and they had like new goals. This is not about that. This is a new thing they're doing with petitions for work green cards filed before January 1, 2021 in certain categories, EB1 and EB2, always the highest education and highest experience categories. And they're saying if you are the E13 or E21 classification, E13 being multinational advanced degrees and executive manager classification, and E21 is the national interest waiver with advanced degrees. In other words, those are the categories for the highest tier work permits. Work green cards. I'm tired, man. Friday is always difficult. Work green cards. That's for people who file to get a green card straight through USCIS with skipping. They completely skip over Department of Labor. And apparently some of them have been waiting since before January 1, 2021, almost a year and 6 months. So they're going to try to expedite those people. And there's a new rule. They have to pay $2,500 an extra processing fee, and they will be expedited. So this is very good news. I could see that the federal government is pushing for green cards and visas for the highest level technology, engineering, business, medicine, math people. And my daughter is joining. I'm waving. Hi. So that's a big change. And I see that if you do have a high degree and really good experience in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, or medicine, and you're ready to come here and you really want to get a green card in the United States, give us a call. We can help you right now. They're really trying to get those people ahead of the line. So even the old petitions are getting through, but I see that they're also accepting new petitions, and they're telling people that they're encouraging people with really great technical minds to apply for green cards in the United States. Finally, we're moving towards my last topic, and I couldn't not mention this. This was a terrible week in American history. We had another school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. A young man of 18 years old started this out by shooting his grandmother in the head, got in his car, told his friend from Germany that he is going to go shoot up some kids, went to an elementary school, which, if you're not from the United States, it's grades kindergarten. So, kindergarten, pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, up until 5th grade. So the smallest little kids. He took weapons that he bought in the state of Texas on his 18th birthday. And yes, in many states in America, it is that easy to buy a gun. On the day of his birthday, just like my daughter who's listening, got her driver's license on her 16th birthday, on his 18th birthday, he bought himself a huge automatic gun, not like one of those, shotguns that people go hunting with. Oh no, an automatic military weapon with ammunition. And shortly thereafter, this week, he went to this school with little kids and shot up, I think like 20 people and, 20 children and 2 adults died. So I assume those were teachers that died protecting the kids. The school did not have armed guards. And this is an ongoing problem. It's an epidemic in our country. It's an American problem. Other countries don't have this. UK did not have any shootings this year. Australia had no shootings in schools this year. France, Canada, this is an American grown problem. We definitely have a problem. And this is part of my, I'm going to have a video soon about, the bad things about living in the United States. What are some negative things of being part of American society? And I think part of some of these negative things is there's no gun control in certain places. The mental health is not given any attention. People just give you pills, okay? Doctors just give you pills to make you feel better. And if you don't go ask for help, nobody gives a crap. So mental health is really low. There's a lot of stress. Everybody's focused on surviving and working. Nobody is focused on people, and especially young men are doing this. And last week there was a shooting in New York State in the town of Buffalo, where a white young man of the same age, 18 years old, walked into a supermarket and shot up some mostly black people, but some white people died as well. So these are our problems, and this really doesn't have much to do with immigration, but since you guys are interested in coming and joining this country and becoming part of this society, these are some of the problems we have right now. And there's a huge outcry in the US government, all kinds of levels of politics, and they're really trying to figure out, and will be trying to figure out, how to solve this, but it doesn't have an easy solution. There's no easy solution to this. So I said they promised not to arrest any families. This is Texas. Texas has a lot of immigrants, illegal and legal. There were a lot of immigrant children in this class who died, and ICE promised not to arrest, not to bother the families of those children who lost their lives and everybody around them who had anything to do with the shooting. And this is a sad day in America, the country that has so many resources, so many opportunities for people, and yet mental health, gun control, people being isolated and lonely is a big problem here. And there's no social net for people who are suffering, and no one even knew this kid was suffering. He lived with his grandparents apparently, and he started by killing his grandmother. So he was killing everything humane inside of himself, because it's an analogy. The things that we do is usually an analogy for how we feel inside. Sad day. That's why I'm not in the best mood today, because I'm a mom too. I have 3 kids, and I had to have a conversation with my kids what to do if there is a shooting in their school, where to hide. Terrible. Many countries already have implemented armed guards at every school, like France, and some other, Israel for sure. And we might be moving in that direction in the United States. Schools, elementary schools, every kind of schools will have armed guards. I will start answering your questions. I know you guys have been really patient and waiting, and here we go. On YouTube, the alias boy is asking, I was married with an abuser spouse. Now I'm living with someone else, and we have a son. Is that disqualified me for VAWA? If you are not divorced yet, or your divorce is less than 2 years, in time, you haven't been divorced yet. For 2 years, you can definitely file, and there's no problem even if you are living with someone else, but I wouldn't marry anyone else until you do get the VAWA approved. That's what I tell my clients. Tom is asking, hi, my friend had a Stokes interview 2 days ago and has not received any status updates yet. How long can he wait for the positive response? And if it's negative, what are further procedures to take? A Stokes interview is an interview based on a marriage to get a green card through marriage. And a Stokes interview is where they separate the two spouses and ask them the same set of questions. And then they compare the answers. And if the answers are different, if there's too many discrepancies, you will get denied. Your I-130, your petition on marriage will get denied. And the consequence of that is that they very likely will send your friend to immigration court for deportation, case, not to deport him right away, but for proceedings. That's the consequences. 2 days is not enough time. It could take 2-3 months to get results back. He should have a good feeling about what happened, because at the end of a Stokes interview, the officer always reviews what were the discrepancies, what were the differences. They don't keep it a secret. They definitely tell you. And there was like a lot, it's going to get denied. If there was 1 or 2, 3, and you successfully explain them, because sometimes things happen, lost in translation, then your friend will be approved, and it should be just fine. But 2 days is certainly not enough time to get any kind of results yet. Okay, moving on. Oh, good. I'm getting more comments. Very good. On Facebook, Isaiah is asking, how are you? How are you, Isaiah? Thank you for asking. I'm good. Thank you. The Dream is saying, and she's my follower for a long time. Thank you for watching. Hi, Marina. Do I need to have all my witness letters notarized? It's not necessary to have your witness letters for VAWA notarized. I remember that the Dream asks me about VAWA sometimes. Witness letters should be signed, dated, and a copy of ID should be attached. Gringo Biele says, I had a question. I did my interview 2 weeks ago. My I-130 was approved. Oh, nice. So this is the marriage petition was approved in the same day of my interview, but my I-485 is still pending. Any possibility to deny? Yes, there is a possibility that I-485 is going to be denied. And that depends on all those questions you get asked at the I-485 is the green card interview. So the green card interview is where the immigrant has to prove that he or she themselves, independent of the marriage, are eligible for the green card. Arrests, terrorism problems, lying on government papers, like your prior visa applications or something, there's a discrepancy. Again, you filed something before, you said you lived at one address. In this case, maybe you said you lived at a different address. If you lied in any of those questions they ask, like when they ask you 1,000 things, like have you worked illegally? And again, if you lied, if something is not true, they could deny you because that's a separate application from the marriage application. But if everything was fine, that happens. That sometimes people don't get the response for the I-485 right away. Okay, the next question on YouTube is from The Remnant. It's not a question, it's a comment. And she's saying, "Good morning, Marina. It's so sad about the school shooting, and her prayers are with the family." My prayers are with all the families and the school district. I read this morning that, well, this is where the famous actor Matthew McConaughey was born. This is his hometown. I read this morning that this barista at a Starbucks was talking to somebody who was buying coffee in the drive-thru and asking if the customer was okay and they were taking care of themselves. And they started talking, and it turns out that they're from San Antonio, another town in Texas, and they came to fill in for those people from Starbucks in Uvalde that have suffered, probably had family members, die in the school, were affected, so they're helping out. The Remnant is asking, a friend of mine got their VAWA approved about 2 months ago. She wants to know how long before she can get her I-485 approved. Both were filed concurrently. This is a great question. It happens. Usually the VAWA takes another 6 months to sometimes to a year. So 2 months is not long enough yet to worry. What happens technically, to explain why this delay, right? Once they approve VAWA, that only happens in the Vermont Service Center. The Vermont Service Center is the one place in the United States, the humanitarian unit there, that handles VAWAs, U visas, T visas, all these humanitarian types of cases. That's why it's called humanitarian unit. Once they approve the case, they actually physically take the file. I was going to show you, physically take the file. It's a big file. It's called your alien file. It's in a special brown folder with your alien number on it, and they ship it in a box to your local field office. Let's say you live in Texas. So the local office in Texas puts you in line. Once they get to you, they look at your file, they open it, and they say, "Oh, we need a new medical," or "We need a medical. There's no medical in here," or "We need a copy of this," or "We need this. It's missing pictures." I don't know. And they send you sometimes a request for evidence, or if they have everything they need, they either can interview you, so they schedule you to come in for your I-485 green card interview, or they can just approve it on the papers. If you don't have any problems, if your biometrics, your fingerprints don't hit anything, in other words, they don't see any arrests for you, there's no problems, there's the medical, everything matches, they will just approve you and send you a letter, "Welcome to the United States. Your I-485 is approved." But this, what I was just telling you, explains why it's delayed. The VAWA is approved first, the I-485 second. Okay, next question is, people are saying thank you. Thank you. Tom and the Dreamer saying thank you. Mike is saying hi, Marina. Hi, thank you for watching. I skipped some things, but anyway, Herb Rudo says, "Hi, I applied for K1. This is the fiance visa for my fiance a year ago, but I didn't get anything yet. How long it takes? It should be, you should hear something in a few months, 2-3 months at most. 1 year is pretty long, and you should hear something soon, okay?" Mustafa Sek is asking, how long does this I-751 with waiver take? The I-751 is a petition to remove conditions. So that's when you go from a 2-year green card to the 10-year green card. With waiver means that Mustafa filed alone. The spouse didn't file with him, and there's different reasons, like abuse, or they were married but got divorced, or something else happened, right? It takes about the same time as the regular kind of I-751. And I go on the website, so I go to USCIS.gov. The main website is USCIS.gov. And I go right to processing times. I click on the one where it says check processing times. I find the I-751 petition, and you can do this on your own computer. And then I select the removal of lawful permanent resident conditions. And then there's different service centers, Mustafa. So let's pick Potomac Service Center. I click on get processing times, and it's telling me 23.5 months from when you filed, 2 years from when you filed, okay? If your case is in Nebraska Service Center, 17 and a half months. So, you know, a year and like 7-8 months. All right. Kelly's asking if our law firm takes VAWA cases. We do. This is a lot of our work, like a major part. I would say 70% of our cases is VAWA cases in different stages. You know, some people do VAWA when they file for the 10-year green card, like Mustafa, removal of conditions. Some people do VAWA because they never filed anything before. They're married to a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident, and they're abused. Sometimes it's parents. Their kids are U.S. citizens. They're 21 years old and or more. You know, your daughter is 27, and they abused the immigrant parent. Okay, all of that is VAWA. VAWA also could be you were married to an abuser, he abused you, and he died. We had a few of these cases. They died from overdose, from alcohol poisoning. Also VAWA, you know. VAWA is great because it forgives even if you came without a visa. You don't need a waiver if you have VAWA. VAWA is the waiver. It forgives the fact that you might have overstayed your visa, worked here lawfully, even if you have a deportation. We close deportations that are active and we remove all deportations. You get rid of them. They completely disappear and you get a green card, you travel, you do everything. Tanta says hi and thank you. Thank you. I think I said this already. Okay, Mike is asking, I'm waving to people on Instagram. Mike is asking, hi Marina, I received last week my VAWA prima facie approval. How long do you think I will receive work authorization? And can USCIS actually decline to give me a work authorization? So Mike filed a VAWA case, and men can and do absolutely file for abuse petitions. A green card through being abused by your spouse who is a green card holder or U.S. citizen. It takes about 3 years to get a VAWA case approved. Maybe 2 years and 7 months, something like that. Prima facie approval is a letter that means you gave them on the basic level what they needed, and it looks on the surface that your case will be approvable. They haven't really looked at it in detail yet, but you gave them a police clearance, you gave them proof of the marriage to the U.S. citizen, you gave them proof of you, that your spouse was citizen or a green card holder, and a marriage certificate. That's enough to get a prima facie approval. Now, you now have to prove to them that you had a real marriage with your spouse, number one. Number two, that you don't have any new arrests or anything like that. And number three is that you were abused, or you felt abused at least. All right, so it's a good sign, but it doesn't mean it's approved. And you should receive your work authorization about 9 months, 10 months from when you filed the case. And it's it could get declined, I guess, but usually it doesn't. Zulika says, good morning, happy Friday, enjoy your long weekend. Thank you. And this weekend is Memorial Day. It's a big federal holiday in the United States. It's when we remember all the veterans, all the people who had participated in the wars that the United States fought, like World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, and we remember veterans and we remember people who died in the war, and we salute our military, our defenders, and we remember that America does participate in the wars, even though we're sometimes far from a lot of these places. Like right now, we're far from Ukraine, but we are helping them remotely right now. Alfonso Lewis saying, hello, good morning, Marina, on YouTube. Good morning, Marina. I'm a U.S. citizen filing for my wife over one. We missed 2 interviews. We appealed the case, and now we were told to refile a next I-130. Okay, so he filed for his wife, and they were denied after 2 interviews. They appealed it, and they're wanting to know if they should wait for the appeal results or refile another I-130. It's hard to say. You should call our office for a consultation, and the number is on the bottom of the screen if you're on YouTube or Facebook, and it's 718-769-6352 if you're on Instagram. It's the same number. I'm just saying it out loud. 718-769-6352. 6352. I'd have to look at what was the basis for your appeal. I assume you and your wife had a lot of different answers, discrepancies at your interview for marriage. And I don't know how the appeal will go. It's not a bad idea to file a new I-130. It depends what you want to do. Hermudo says, thank you. Alan Silva says, my work permit will be completing in 10.5 months next month. Oh, so he filed the for a work permit 10.5 months ago. Do you think they can still send it until next month? They could send it until the next month, and they can send it in July. I wouldn't count on them to do anything timely. They're super delayed right now. Kamaju says, hello, good morning. Alan says he has a pending VAWA case for a whole year, and work authorization was filed under C9 section. That's correct. Good. And it will be completing 10.5 months next. Okay, I got it. So I would wait a little bit. I would wait for the work permit. It's coming, but it might take another month or two. Byrain Lee says, hi, I have an I-130 approved, and I had withholding of removal. Would I like to know how I can get a green card? Okay. If you had a withholding of removal, that means you went to immigration court and the court ordered you removed, but thought it wasn't safe for you to return to your country. So they decided to do this thing called withholding of removal. To now get a green card through your family petition, you have to make a motion to the court to reopen your deportation case and file I-485 for your green card. Now, if you came in with a visa and your only problem was that you overstayed, or like it wasn't that you came with a, if you don't have the following problems, you can get a green card. If you didn't come in through the border without a visa, because if you did, it's very difficult to get a green card. If you didn't have marriage fraud in your case, because if you had marriage fraud, they will not reopen your deportation. And a few other major problems. You didn't have arrests, you didn't have terrorism problems. If you were just like a regular person who overstayed their visa, they will reopen your asylum, I assume, case. I'm sure you filed for asylum. Get rid of the deportation and allow you to get a green card through the judge because you have a family petition for you approved. Now, I don't know what kind of a family petition. Is it through marriage? Is it through a child over 21 who's a citizen? Those you can go right away. For the other categories, you might have to wait and do like a waiver. So give us a call if you want a more detailed answer. Kamaju says, if you agreed to voluntary departure in 2011, can you file for VAWA? Absolutely. And how long does it take to get a work permit after filing for VAWA? Your case is going to be a little different. You can try to file for VAWA with an I-485 and see if they will give you a work permit that way, but they might not because your case is in immigration court. The jurisdiction over your case is still with the judge. So USCIS might look at it when you apply for the green card. The VAWA will be fine. You apply for the VAWA, it's going to go. The green card application that usually people submit with VAWA that will give you the quick work authorization, the quick being like 11 months right now, they might deny it, say, look, first you got to deal with immigration court. So that means that your work permit could take as long as 3 years because in your case, it might be approved based on VAWA only. And those kinds of work permits take as long as the VAWA case takes. I'm wrapping up my show and I'm doing my last question. Oh, Kamaju is adding he's undocumented. Yeah, you can do VAWA. It's not a problem. VAWA will be fine. Okay, on this note, I thank you all for watching. Thank you so much. It's been half hour already of our show. Oh, I have one more question before we go. Sorry. Fiona says, will there be an amnesty program for those who arrived in the U.S. prior to 2010? I heard they may extend. I don't know yet. There's not much talk about it right now. What the politicians are all talking about is gun control. In view of the shooting this week, it seems to be our biggest problem right now, and inflation. All right. On this note, goodbye, everyone. Have a great week. Bye. See you next week. See you next week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones. If you have a mental problem, make sure you talk to a doctor.